Welcome back to Your Mother's Tone. Today I'm talking about this absolute beast of a guitar. This is my Ibanez Bob Weir guitar. I think it's probably a good way to phrase it. 1978 this, so it's the newest guitar to me. I've had it for about 6 months. It is the oldest guitar I've ever owned, I believe. It is a fucking monster. It weighs as much as a freight train, thanks to this one piece of swamp ash, that's then been hand carved. I believe they call that a German carving. 3-piece neck that, to be quite honest, if you'd have told me that they'd actually just cut a baseball bat in half and stuck it on here, I'd have believed you, because that's what it feels like. It's really thick. But as a result of these things, it just has this incredible sound to it, incredible amount of warmth and boom. It's also got what else is interesting on this guitar? So it's got something called a volute on the headstock. So if you've watched my video about my Les Paul and I talked about how it had a really bad design in the headstock and all that kind of shit, this has got a reinforced headstock so it doesn't break, which is wonderful. It's also got a locking bridge. Now, what that basically means is once you're happy with where the bridge is, you can lock it in place and it will not move. So you can restring this. In theory, so long as your neck doesn't move, you could restring this as many times as you want and you'll have the right action, in theory. Obviously, there's a lot of other things that can go into dictating where your action is, but that bridge does not move, which is awesome. It's got these crazy hot humbuckers. These are called the Super 80 Flying Fingers, I believe, which baffle me why Bob Weir used them, because Bob Weir, for those that don't know, is quite a sort of mellow country jazz kind of player. I can't imagine what use he had out of this kind of. I can't imagine that he found that particularly useful, but obviously I do. Yeah, they're really hot. I'll play some rhythm stuff in a bit, and you can just hopefully hear just how hot they are. Fretboard is really interesting. If you are a Fender player, this will be really comfortable for you, even though it has got a really thick neck, because these are actually jumbo frets on a Gibson style guitar, which is kind of like a mesh, a mesh. Let's go for a mesh of these different sides of looking at the guitar. Gibson usually have shorter scales with smaller frets, and Fender have longer scales with bigger frets. This has all the Gibson stylings, but with jumbo frets, which means it's just like it's a lot easier to sort of guide your way around. I often, because my fingers are quite fat, I get, especially when I put the top end, quite muddled up on a Gibson style guitar, whereas this, even up here, it's quite easy to play. I mean, I say easy. None of this guitar is easy to play, but it's relatively easy. Like I say, this guitar is, there's so many things that make this brilliant, but the thing for me that makes it stand out is just how challenging it is to actually play this guitar. And that's due to the weight of it, due to the size of the neck, due to the fact that if you were wearing it, with a strap, it would actually neck dive like that because it's too heavy at the top end. It's got no heel, so it gets really quite thick down here. You know, loads of things make it really hard to play, but I think that really complements, you know, what you do as a guitarist. You know, I spent a long time playing sort of super strats and stuff, really easy to play guitars, and I was never able to create a sound that I really loved. Whereas this, you know, you put out what you get out rather what you put in, and I think that's really cool. I've got the original receipt for this, and it was 250 quid back in 1980 when it was originally bought. I paid substantially more than that, but it was also by far the cheapest guitar in Vintage and Rare Guitars in Bath where I got it. So says a lot about me and a lot about them, I guess. That wasn't to discredit it. It's a fucking amazing store. It just has a lot of really expensive guitars, like famous guitars and shit. So yeah, this is the Ibanez. This appears on everything that I do that's in standard tuning, really. It will be making an appearance live, although chances are if I'm out and about, you know, in places that aren't near home, I'd probably take my Stratocaster, because this is, you know, there's not many of these guitars lying around in the UK, so I don't want it to get damaged. But for me, like I say, this is a Les Paul killer, and if somebody turned around to me and said, "Toby, I've got a Bob Weir guitar, I'll swap it for your Les Paul," I'd throw the Les Paul at them, because I absolutely love this, and I'd own loads of them if I could afford it, but I can't. So anyway, enough about me. Enough about this guitar. Enough about me yakking. I'm going to play some shit for you, and you can see just how fucking monstrous it is. So let's start with some mellow stuff, I guess. Because it's quite old, it does need a fret dress and things like that, so there's a bit of buzz every now and again, but that's all stuff that can be seen too. Let's crank it a bit. Something went amok. I think my wah-wah's broken. Anyway, yeah, absolute fucking beast. Whoever designed this, whoever greenlit this, should be given a fucking medal, as far as I'm concerned, for the funkiest, most beautiful / ugliest guitar I've ever played. Yeah, absolute beast. My Ibanez Bob Weir, ladies and gentlemen. Buenos nachos.